What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Refinement. This is another episode of Car Talk, episode number 3. Today I want to talk about sort of how my views on reselling have changed. So maybe you can listen to my progression and hopefully it gives you some insight in how you should run your own resale business. So starting off with, last month was my biggest month reselling ever. I hit a number that I've been trying to do for a long time, and I honestly don't feel any better or worse from hitting that goal. So I think that having a number goal doesn't actually make sense. I was looking at an article written by Jason Fried. He's the founder of 37 Signals. Really cool guy, and his article kind of inspired me to talk about how my views on reselling have changed. So first off, I made the most money reselling profit-wise by going to the flea market at 3 a.m. on Sunday for 3 years. That made me several $100,000. I met a ton of different suppliers. I found things I bought for $4 and sold for $100 regularly, and that profit margin gave me my start for reselling. Recently, maybe about 6 months ago, 8 months ago, I stopped doing that. I stopped going to the flea market, and instead of taking that really high margin, high profit opportunity, I took a lower profit opportunity so I could sleep in on Sunday and not be a zombie with my family at night. Now that I have 2 kids, I'd rather be 100% with them than make X number of money by waking up on Sunday morning. Even no matter how early I went to sleep on Saturday, it still kind of messed up my week waking up at 3 a.m. Now, that being said, I'm currently selling on the platform Whatnot, and the best time to stream is between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's when most of the people are on the app. You can just look at the app and count how many people are on it. Way more people are on it at night, at home, laying in bed. They're ready to go to sleep. But for me, 5 to 9 p.m. is the most important part of my family. I pick up my kids, I make dinner, hang out with them, hang out with my wife. It takes up that entire slot. So for me to stream during that time, I would actually be taking the same slot as my family time, same as the Sunday morning slot. So unfortunately with reselling, it is extremely inconvenient at the times that make the most money. Saturday morning, when you go to garage sales, it's much better to be first in line than to get there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's also really inconvenient to, on your Friday night, map out where you want to go Saturday, and then Saturday morning, wake up before everybody else does go, and you're kind of giving up the best day of the week for that money. Now, here's the thing. It's completely worth it at first. And in a couple of previous episodes, I talked about the first $100,000 saved is the hardest. And I wish I knew that when I started, that it's going to be really hard in the beginning. But once you have 100,000 saved, your whole life is different because you don't need to be in a rush. You can just take your time, pick things that make sense to you. And if something happens, you can just wait and think of the next thing to do. But if you're paycheck to paycheck, you just have to find amazing items and you live and die by what you find at the thrift. But if you can just be really aggressively saving the first little bit, it really helps a lot. So if I could go back and talk to my old self, I would say, be way more patient in the beginning, and profit matters the most at the beginning. After you make a little money, you don't have to wake up Sunday morning at 3 a.m. anymore. You don't have to go Saturday morning. You don't have to work at night when most people are on their phone shopping, right? You can actually pick a different lifestyle. When I was working for the car business, I hated working nights, weekends, and holidays. And they said, if you want to continue to be successful in this business, you have to work nights, weekends, and holidays forever. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just start over. I've had a career in this business for a while. I'm going to try something different where I can be more flexible. But honestly, it's not flexible in the beginning. In the beginning, you have to make high profits to survive. And the times that make the highest profit are instead of going out with your friends, you would be listing instead. It's really inconvenient in the beginning. So as you're getting that going, I think the way I should have looked at it is, I want to do the best I can with what I have. So in the beginning, the best that you can do is the best that the platforms offer. Because you don't have any money, you don't have any capital, you don't have any space. So you have to work when you make the highest profit to buy back some of your time. If you have a little money saved, now you don't have to wake up at 3 a.m. For me, going to a garage sale at 2 o'clock, if I find a couple of items, that's good enough for me. I don't have to go at 6 a.m. to find the biggest banger in the world. Now, if I'm treasure hunting and that's my ultimate goal, I wouldn't go to a garage sale anyway. That's that's too small of an opportunity to find. I would go to a flea market and search all day long. I would go to a different state. I would go to something more epic or something more online, like an estate sale online, or something where I have a larger pool to pick from. The entire United States would be more interesting. So right now, I'm in this weird conundrum because my abilities are based around sales and I can't really do it at the prime time. So what I've decided to do is take a step back and kind of work with other people who can stream from 5 to 9 p.m. and other people who can go Sunday morning to the flea market early and source from them. There is a markup, and sadly, I'm not doing what I am best at doing, but I can do the best I can. And essentially, the way I'm looking at it right now is 10 people doing it 6 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 is going to be way more than I can do 10 out of 10 peak capacity, peak performance. But honestly, it doesn't feel as good as being in the game. And I got way more satisfaction trying to make my business work a couple of years ago in my Reseller Nirvana store, starting from zero. Trying to make that work was much more invigorating than right now. I'm kind of like a pencil pusher. I'll like think about allocating money into this deal. Other people list it, other people ship it. And it's still super cool. And I love working in a warehouse. I don't know if you guys have seen how happy I am compared to working in a storage unit and how happy I was there compared to working at home. I love leaving work and I really, really enjoy going somewhere to work. And I would say that separates a lot of hobbyists from professionals. If you leave your house and go to the garage, or you leave your house and go to a storage unit, or you leave your house and go to a warehouse, the feeling is just so much different because I feel like having it at home, it's just a lot different. It doesn't give you the same satisfaction as working in another place, and you just get a lot more pride from that. So my new method is going to be doing it the best that I can with what I have, and whatever the result is what the result is. I honestly think now, after looking at all the different people reselling since 2016 when I started this channel, I kind of think a lot of what I've done has been luck, because like it kind of is just how good your suppliers are. Reselling is sort of straightforward. The systems are similar. Everything is sort of similar. The main difference is just how good is the supply that you're finding. You can go out there and hustle in the middle of Montana and you're not going to find as much stuff as in New Jersey. It's just a different opportunity. So are you courageous enough to move from Montana to New Jersey and live in a 10-bedroom share until you figure it out? Maybe. Lots of people do that. Lots of people move to the United States is literally that. People moved here for a better situation. Hopefully they did better, right? But I think that a lot of what happened to me is luck. So I feel like, could I have rebuilt this exact same thing? Yes and no. Yes, I could have rebuilt the processes. I could have rebuilt my systems, rebuilt my schedule, but I couldn't have rebuilt the results to happen. That really just depends on what you find. Right now, a couple people have asked me for like, what does your annual plan look like? And I think that the annual plan is BS. I always talk about like being an Excel millionaire just means that you make a couple formulas and then you drag down to the right. But it doesn't work like that. Like I can only plan my business 90 days because I don't know what inventory is coming in. My personal bills are the same every year, but like my actual business, I don't know based on what stuff is coming in. If it's just me going out there to thrift stores and garage sales, then I know because it's just my time and what I'm going to find. But even then, sometimes you find something that's really high and it skews that week. Every single year that I resold, I found one deal that made me $10,000 or more. I have no idea when that's going to happen, January or October or March. So I sort of just like live my life every single month as if I wasn't going to find anything. So this entire time, like I feel like I've been deferring the enjoyment of my store a little bit, and I kind of want to enjoy it a little bit more. I want to celebrate kind of more of what I've been doing, the successes that have been going well, because I would say my favorite thing in my business right now is just taking photos. Like I love taking photos and looking at how different it is. You guys are watching my YouTube channel. It looks completely different. Every single time you watch a video, the space looks completely different. It's very cool. I'm glad that I'm doing this right now. So, My videographer made a really, really good suggestion. So maybe Reseller Car Talk is me giving the best advice that I can for you. And hopefully my ideas can help you get to the next level. And maybe my regular show on YouTube is just me sharing my journey, which is the whole point of why I make YouTube. Just want to share what's going on. I don't care about the algorithm anymore. I used to though, and I feel like that's different. You're making videos for views is different than just making videos to share what you're doing, because I'm sharing what I'm actually doing. I'm not sharing things that would go viral. Right? And in my my business, now I think the whole point of it is to make as much profit as I can, right? So that I have a little bit of money extra. And this is probably the biggest change in my resale business. I'm not that interested in reinvesting everything. This sounds kind of crazy for me, but I don't want to reinvest anymore. I just want to leave the same amount of money the same amount of money invested in, all the profit I'm going to take out. I'm going to leave this amount of money in here and then just let it turn over as much as it can until one day it doesn't, and that'll be the end of my resale business. But watching it, how fast liquidation works, it's essentially like 2 months from, like let's say I decide to stop in 2 months. In 2 months, there will be nothing left. The only thing that will be left is like a couple cameras, a couple desks, some rolling racks, and some shipping supplies. And even those, I'm trying to make sure I run out on the very last day. Like, I made this grand masterpiece of logistics trying to move. Like, the water was gonna run out, toilet paper was gonna run out, toilet paper was gonna run out. Don't have to move anything. And then my thing got delayed 1 month, and now I have to redo this whole thing, and I'm not even sure I can move in a month. So that's why a 90-day plan is as far as I go. Everything else is just fantasy. It really doesn't work like that. So my new method of reselling is just do the best I can with what I have. Can I stream during the best time from 5 to 9 p.m.? I cannot, because I prioritize my family over my stream time. So I just do the best that I can during the day, and I'm completely happy with that. Instead of like trying to do everything at the maximum ability, which is honestly the way that you should do it if you're just starting. But like, if you are starting to do well, you can start to say no, and no is the coolest thing ever, to not have to say yes. When I get an opportunity that's like, Chris, you can make X amount of money if you do this, I can now say no. But when I first started, I said, sure, what time do I have to be there? I would go do it because that's the only opportunity I've got. In the beginning, that's great. But as you start to go, maybe right now you're in it, right? And you're trying to make it work. One day you can choose not to take that deal that you have to do right now to get there. You don't have to take those $1, $5 profit deals anymore. You can look for something that's $500 profit because you're in a different financial position. So I want you guys to stay patient. Just realize the beginning is the hardest part. And I wish someone had told me that, because when I first started, I thought, I am having a hard time because of me. But everyone has a hard time at the beginning because you don't know anything. Having kids has been maybe the most enlightening part of this, because a 1-year-old is so different from a 3-year-old. A 2-week-year-old is so much different than a 2-month-year-old. Like, my son at 1 year old has 1 tooth, and my daughter had 10 teeth. It's the same, they're the same parents, same diet, same location, right? One of them is super happy, one of them is super intense. 2 different personalities, same parents. So you never know what's gonna happen. You do the best that you can. And I kind of think goals are pointless now. Like, do the best you can, and whatever happens is whatever happens. I don't even know if you can set an income goal anymore with reselling, because you don't know what you're gonna find. It's like, you can kind of guess, but has anybody had a month reselling that's exactly what they thought? It's always plus or minus a little bit. So hopefully that's useful, guys. Appreciate you. Until next time, make progress daily.